Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Lola. I'm a confidence and entrepreneur coach. You are watching another episode of the Periscope Circle of Influence. Thanks, ladies. Thanks. We have at Lola Coker-Esu, we have at Brittany Fisher, and we have at Mom's Herbs. So those are the featured scopers for today. So we are talking about 5 unhealthy habits for your business. And before I go right into that, we just want to let you know that we do pick our scopers randomly, and we post them on our website. That's www.periscopecircleofinfluence.com. So you will see who that person is on Thursday. We also announce on Periscope on Thursdays as well. If you have any questions or any comments, or you'd like to send us any inquiries, you can definitely send it to contact@periscopecircleofinfluence.com. Also, you can check out our Facebook group. You could definitely be a part of it at bit.ly/Periscope Circle of Influence. And if you've missed any of the scopes and you want to see what each of us ladies has to say about it, you can find us on our YouTube channel. That's Periscope Circle. So today I will be sharing a couple of things that we do as entrepreneurs that's unhealthy for us. And the first thing that I want to say that we do is we overextend ourselves. We put too much on our plates. We try to do everything at once, and sometimes, we end up putting too much on our plates, and it could be very detrimental, right? So the first thing I am mentioning today is overextending yourself. Make sure that you're not putting too much on your plate, and that if you have a lot of things that you want to accomplish, you spread it out evenly throughout your week and things like that. The next thing that I do want to mention that we do as entrepreneurs is we have poor eating habits. So we work so much and we forget to eat all day. And I'm really, really guilty of this, because I always say, oh, just one more thing and then I'll eat, one more thing and then I'll eat. And then I find out 5 things later, I still haven't eaten. And instead of getting up to go eat, I continue with my one more thing until the day is almost over, or until my tummy really, really hurts, which is terrible. We really shouldn't wait till we get to that point before we eat. So I have been working on it, guys. See how long my neck looks right now. I mean, it's filling up a little more now because I'm being more conscious and intentional about it. But for a very about a month and a half or so, I found that I would work and keep saying one more thing, and then I'll eat. And then I found I didn't have any breakfast, and I usually am very big on breakfast. But all of a sudden I found that I was missing breakfast or skipping lunch and things like that, and which is really not good for you as an entrepreneur. The next thing that I have is we try to take advantage of every opportunity that comes our way, and sometimes it's not everything that comes your way that you have to take advantage of. You need to be able to say no. You need to be able to evaluate what works with your business model and what doesn't work with your business model. You need to be able to identify what is not for you and what is for you. You also, even when putting out services and products, we need to be able to narrow down what is not good for our clients and things like that. So I find that and sometimes it has to do with the fear of missing out on opportunities, but sometimes it also has to do with the fact that we're people pleasing, right? So we don't want to say no. Someone brings an opportunity your way, you don't want to say no, and then you end up saying yes, and then that leads you to overextending yourself as well, because now you have all these things on your plate and you're not able to follow through, right? The next thing that I have for us as well is we take our work to bed. So a lot of us in this day and age, we do a lot of work on our phones, we do a lot of work on our tablets, we do a lot of work on our laptops. We take those things to bed with us when we really should be saying, you know what, we're done with work is over, and go to bed and get some rest and actually sleep. So I found that, and now I'm being even more intentional about this as well, because now I've noticed that I do this. So because I work a lot from my phone and my tablet, I find that because naturally I take them to bed with me to charge them and things like that. Exactly. I find that I'm like, oh, let me just quickly check my email, or like a message will come in and I'm like, oh, let me quickly check it. And then I find that instead of actually going to bed, I continue my work even in bed, which is not a good thing, because when you shut down, you should completely shut down. Turn your eyes away from your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever it is. You know, even with the laptop thing, like not taking it to the room with you. If you and that's why I always encourage that we set up a workstation at home, especially for those of us who work at home, right? Yes, shut down and shut off completely. That's right, Deborah. So, you know, and if, you know, I always encourage, especially for, you know, those of us that work from home as well, like make sure you have a delegated workstation, and you know that when you're getting work done, you go there, and you know, once you leave that station, you're done with work, right? So don't take your work to bed. Another thing that I also found that we do, which is very detrimental to our health, is that, you know, we people watch a lot. Exactly, you can charge your devices somewhere else in the house. Absolutely. You don't have to charge it in your room. You don't have to charge it next to your bed. Absolutely. Oh, thank you for that feedback. Thank you so much for that. So the next thing that I wanted to talk to us about is obsessive people watching. So especially for those of us who, you know, learn a lot on Periscope and things like that, or we browse the internet for information and things like that, I find that sometimes you end up spending a lot of time. Thank you, Deborah. We spend a lot of time, you know, on Periscope watching people because we feel like we're missing out on information, or we spend a lot of time trying to get a lot of information online. Listen, researching, learning, and building your knowledge is not a bad thing, but when it becomes obsessive and excessive, that's when it becomes a problem. When you feel like you're missing out on stuff, you know, you have to go into every scope, or you have to check every website, or, you know, you have to, you know, check what every person has to say about something. That's when it becomes a problem, because one, it overburdens you. Thank you, Deborah, for that. It overburdens you, right? Because you have like this overload of information. And then apart from that, it overburdens your schedule, right? Because you've put so much time into watching other people and doing all this research that you don't actually make time to implement any of the things that you've learned, right? So we end up having information overload, and we're not dumping it out into actual productive work, which is very unhealthy, right? And then you end up feeling like you're not accomplishing anything because you haven't really set out the time to put these things into practice. So obsessive people watching, obsessive intake of information is another unhealthy habit that we have as entrepreneurs. So I'm just going to do a quick recap, but before I do, I'd like to reset. My name is Lola. I'm a confidence and entrepreneur coach. This is another episode of the Periscope Circle of Influence. We scope every Tuesday, every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. GMT. If you'd like to be a part of what we're doing, you can join us on our website. You can check out our website, www.periscopecircleofinfluence.com. You could join us on our Facebook group. That's bit.ly/Periscope Circle of Influence. You can send us emails, inquiries, booking information at contact@periscopecircleofinfluence.com. So the first unhealthy habit that I did point out today is overextending ourselves. So we put too much on our plates and we end up overextending ourselves. The second thing that I mentioned is poor eating habits. So we end up working so much, we push our time to eat aside, and then we end up not eating when we're supposed to, or even at all, right? Or until the end of the day, which I mentioned that I have been very guilty about, and now I'm being very intentional and deliberate about getting rid of. The third thing that we do as entrepreneurs that I mentioned is that we try to take advantage of every opportunity that comes our way, and we end up not saying no to things that are not good for our businesses, or things that don't fit into our business models, or things that just don't fit into our schedule, point blank, period, right? So make sure, and sometimes we do it, I mentioned that sometimes we do it out of fear of missing out, or sometimes we do it, you know, because we don't want to say no to people. If you can't take advantage of an opportunity, or it doesn't fit into your business model, or it just doesn't fit into your schedule, don't feel bad about it. Say no. Also, the next thing that I mentioned is taking work to bed. Do not take your work to bed. So I know it's easy to take work to bed because some of us work from our phones, our tablets, and our laptops, and these are things that we typically take to bed with us. You want to make sure that you're charging your phones or your laptops or tablet somewhere else if you find it difficult to close your eyes to it. And the last thing that I mentioned is obsessive people watching, or obsessive intake of information. So you want to know everything about everything, and you want to watch every scope and check every information. And sometimes it overburdens your brain because you have information overload and not enough time to implement any of the things that you've learned. And also it becomes heavy on your brain, right? Because you have all this stuff that you've learned, but you're not able to implement it or apply it, and then you end up being burdened with all of this this. So Deborah, if you'd like to set up, the next person that's going to be going live is Deborah at Sawyerrs House. So her Periscope handle is at Sawyerrs House, and she will be sharing with us the unhealthy habits that she's noticed that we need to address and take care of. All right, wonderful. So that's Deborah. Please follow her at Sawyerrs House. And I hope that you found this information helpful. If you did, please make sure you join us again on Thursday, where we'll be talking more about unhealthy habits that we've noticed that entrepreneurs have, and some habits that we, even noticed that we have and we've been working on over the course of the years and things like that. So again, for my replay viewers, I want to appreciate you. I thank you so much for joining us. Please remember that you can invite and you can absolutely tap the screen and give some hearts. And thank you to whoever it is that's giving me the beautiful pink hearts. I super appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for joining us again. Please come back Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Bye.